Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are celebrating a real milestone for a community treasure. For 25 years, Mobile Loaves and Fishes has provided compassionate service for our homeless neighbors, and we certainly think that's very good news.
Very good news indeed. As Travis County officials honored the nonprofit with a special proclamation today that we'll hear about, we thought it was a perfect time to talk to its founder, Alan Graham, who is with us here, a treasure himself. Thanks for joining us, Alan.
Hey, Leslie and Judy, it's great to be with you guys. What an honor. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on 25 years. I know you don't like a ton of accolades, but I have to start with this quote from Mayor Watson, who, by the way, was mayor when you started this thing in 1998.
Yeah.
Mayor Watson said, Mobile Loaves and Fishes, Community First Village, and Alan Graham have become a part of the culture of Austin. It's part of the happy, positive, joyous, successful part of Austin. I love that quote. Let's go back to the beginning, Alan, and how this success story really started with your vision.
Well, I can tell you that the vision started with no idea that it would end up where it has ended up. It was really a few guys from Westlake Hills wanting to go out and feed people on the street because thought we were called spiritually to do that. Had I known at the time that I was being navigated to get out of what I was pretty successfully doing at the time in order to perhaps do this thing, it would have probably been a big fat no. But that's kind of not how God works, because he knows how I work. And so it was just these little incremental steps that ended up leading to where we are today. Been a real blessing.
A huge blessing to the community too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it started as a food truck, but a food ministry really to our homeless brothers and sisters on the street. Talk about how that transformed into what is now Community First Village.
Well, there are three fundamental things about that truck that we did not understand until after the truck. And the first thing is that the truck goes where the people are. It doesn't herd them to a location. We go and find them under the bridges, street corners, in the urban camps, etc. Secondly, I'm not a believer in leftovers. Of course, I may have some pizza later left over, but for our neighbors, I want to be able to give our best first to them. And that means putting an abundance of choice on the truck. Now, have we gone? Did we lose our connection?
Nope, we're back.
Nope, we got you. We're just showing some pictures while you talk.
Okay. And then the third thing, which turned out to be more powerful than anything, is that those that were serving on the truck and those being served are on the same side of the serving counter, which created this intimate one-on-one relationship. Hi, my name is Alan. Hi, my name is Leslie or Judy. And what would you like from the truck? There was choice to be made from that deal. But let me tell you something. If I went back to that location or any other location a second or third time and ran into Leslie and Judy again, and I hollered out, "Hey, Leslie, Judy," suddenly a relationship is being built. You remembered the most important word in the English language to me, and that's my name. And that was really kind of the catalyst of this whole relationship thing that began to evolve. That's ultimately led to the most talked about neighborhood in Austin, Texas.
Which is Community First.
Yeah.
And I want to get to that next, because you are certainly developing so many relationships in that community. Tell us why you think that has been so successful when you're dealing with the challenge of homelessness, where other models just have not seemed to work as well.
Well, a lot of people, we always try to change language and thinking that we're going to make things better. And now we talk about houseless people instead of homeless people. But I'm going to tell you that I reject the term houseless. Housing is necessary, but it's insufficient. We have to have community. And we believe that the single greatest cause to homelessness is the profound catastrophic loss of family and the broader forged family that's out there, the you and I's taking care of people that may not be DNA related to you and I. And so this whole model is all about connecting people and reconnecting people back to their self first, to family, if that's possible, which is rare, but more importantly, to the community and creating a forged community. You know, Trisha and I moved and we raised our whole family in Westlake Hills, 34 years. Judy, obviously, you guys, you and Thad have been out here a bunch, and we live here, and we've been here for 7 years, Trisha and I, and we would not want to live anywhere else. Our house is right next to that red roof. Frankly, that red roof is behind my home right now. And that red roof is a gathering place where people come together and break bread and make friends. And that's the power of what it is that you're now seeing on this screen, is a village where people can come together, just like family. And we got all the brokenness of family that goes on here. But I tell people all the time, this is the most peaceful place I've ever lived, with a side salad of tension.
Alan, you talked about those relationships, and I want to go back to that now, because when we have been out there lovingly sitting on your porch with you and Trisha, people come by, you know everybody's name. Everybody has this sense of a neighborhood. Unlike a lot of neighborhoods, I would have to say, traditional neighborhoods in Austin, there is this sense of community. How do you create that? Is it love? Is it a feeling of belonging that these folks have now that they have a place of their own to call home?
I think there's a myriad of answers to that question, and it would be great from some really smart academics to come and intellectually study this deal sometime. But I'm going to just throw a few things out there. Number one, small spaces require people to get outside and connect, and and I think that's a big deal. There are no back doors, there are no backyards, there are no 8 foot tall privacy fences. Everybody has a front porch, and so people are hanging out outside. We've created a number of community activities, like the community table, that red roof deal that has a number of meals there done by volunteers from all over the city. And people are pouring out of their respective little homes and gravitating to this spot. And they're intersecting there. And we get to intersect with them all the time, and you get to know people. Now, at the numbers that we have here, it's getting more difficult, but boy, we have a lot of friends here. I'll tell you something else too that's really interesting. You and I, as a people, in the book Beyond Homelessness, Christian Faith and a Culture of Displacement, it talks about 8 characteristics of home. And one of those characteristics, number 8, is home is a place of affiliation and belonging. And you and I, turns out, like to be around people like you and I. That's how we are. And that's a fair thing. It's kind of like your palace home. Who comes into your palace? Here, the level of diversity is unlike anything that I've ever been exposed to in my life. And that brings a level of interesting joy that is hard for me to describe. So any stereotypes that I've carried with me in my life, any biases that I've carried, get shattered and broken down living. And I tell people all the time, if we really, as a nation, want to restore together, we have to live together. And as long as we got our respective bubbles, and they'll talk about a Westlake or a Tarrytown as being a bubble, but let me tell you, East Austin, South, everybody's got their bubble, and they all live in that little bubble. So,
well, I want to talk about El Camino. This is a journey of love that you took with a group of folks who are linked to, and friends who linked to Community First Village and Mobile Loaves and Fishes. This was quite a journey. We want to know why you did it and what it means to you.
Yeah. It is believed that the bones of the Apostle St. James uh, are buried in Santiago de Compostela, Spain. And for 12 or 1300 years, some enormous period of time, there have been pilgrimages, primarily from all over Europe, journeying through Spain to Santiago de Compostela. And a pilgrimage culture has developed along the way. And the original way, what they call the French way, runs from Saint Jean Pied de Port, France, up and over the Pyrenees Mountains into Spain, 500 miles to Santiago de Compostela. So this has been kind of a bucket list item for myself, my oldest son, and a couple of friends for, probably 10 years. But 2 years ago, yeah, and here's basically, yeah, a lot of the people that did this with us. Four of those people made the entire 500 miles. My daughter, that's on the right, my son, that's on the far left, and actually, my daughter's not on the right, but it's the third one in from the left, and Jeff Sarah's in there, and four of them made the full 500. I had a knee issue that took me out, but 2 years ago we just began to fantasize. How do you say Thanksgiving to God for 25 years? So on September 13th, which is the precise celebratory date of our anniversary, which was September 13th, 1998, that me and five buddies went out in the green minivan to serve the homeless for the first time. On September 13th, 2023, we stepped foot on the Camino and began our 6.5 week journey. This is in the plaza there in front of the Basilica of at Santiago de Compostela. So that's my daughter right there hugging my son. And then Charles Green is one of our long-term members of our staff right there. They were glad to be finished, man. It was, yeah, it was brutal good.
Yeah, what a journey! But what a way to give Thanksgiving. That's beautiful. Tell us. Let's look in the future now, if we can. I know it's been a wonderful 25 years. Can you look ahead and share with us some of your hopes for the next generation and carrying on your mission?
We obviously have a lot going on right now with our two new developments, phases 3 and 4. I'm always looking to what, phase 5 and 6 might be. I don't know what that is. Our hands are full right now, so we don't need to do anything now. But in the next few years, you're going to have to identify what that looks like. We're spending a lot of time now building the depth and breadth of what we call our bench strength through our staff. We're at 105 people right now and growing. We'll probably add 30 people in 2024. So it just keeps growing. And we're spending a lot of time building leadership capabilities within those men and women. And, it's funny because at my age, 67 years old, there are people, I was 40 something when they were being born, that are now valuable collaborators to the work that we do. And I find that kind of humorous that they're so young, the age of my children. Obviously my daughter works full-time here and is one of our directors. And but to be around that level of energy and that level of creativity is pretty great. So it's really just setting the place up for the time that us old farts aren't here. That's one F word.
That's just one.
That's okay. We accept that one.
That's an
Okay.
okay word.
Yeah.
Alan, how many people now live at Community First Village?
There are about 410 of us, I believe, that live here and growing. Yeah.
And
One final
I'm sorry. I was just going to ask real quickly, Alan, because I think you're such an inspiration on so many levels because of the challenges of this problem. But the fact that you're a human who has found your purpose and calling and lived it out, I think people can just see it and sense it. Any advice for people on how to get into that purpose and calling and live it out?
You know, I can only make the statement that you made by looking in my rearview mirror. Because when I got the idea to buy a catering truck and go out on the streets to feed people, I didn't look at it as oh my God, I found my calling. Um, I just did it because I thought it was something spiritually right to do from my Christian faith. It was a gospel centric deal, and then you build these relationships with these men and women, and you begin to realize that honestly, they're a lot like you are. Probably came from similar lives, and but didn't have many of the opportunities that you and I had. And then we started going out on the streets and doing sleepovers with them, basically. And now you're spending the night with them in alleyways and parks and shelters, and they're opening up, and you're opening up even more. And then you get this idea to go buy a gently used RV and lift one guy up off the streets. I didn't know it was going to turn into a national movement by any stretch. And to me, this is the way that God works, that he nudges you in a small way. And when we say yes to those small ways, it opens the door for us to say yes to another small way and another small way. And that's what happened to me. And I look back and I go, well, I guess I found my purpose. I'm having a gas, doing all this. But it wasn't like there was a moment that I found that purpose. It was these little bitty things. And look, your lives are both composed. When you look at all the things and decisions that you made, and our audience is the same way. All of these little decisions that we made along the way oftentimes can lead to a life well lived. And I feel that, and I feel blessed and humbled by it, honestly, and not deserving. That's why I went and did the 500-mile deal. Come on, explain this to me, God, which he hadn't done yet. So,
well, don't diminish the fact that you have started a movement. I mean, this is, you started a way to give dignity and hope and love to people who oftentimes don't experience that. And now they have found a place to call home. I mean, that's a major accomplishment. So we're glad that you were called in this direction. No matter how it happened, it has made such a positive difference in our community. We so appreciate you, Alan.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Happy 25th.
All right, great.
Well, we can't wait to see what you do next. We sure appreciate you being with us. And everybody head out to Community First Village during the holidays. They have wonderful programs out there, wonderful setup, lots of lights, right, Alan?
Yeah, 300,000 lights, an Advent market with products. You can do all your Christmas shopping right here for the people you love, made by people that for the most part have spent most of their life being unloved. So come on out. The first 2 weekends of December. It's going to be great.
Got it. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.